More big changes for Stellantis, which means 400 layoffs at a key logistics site, with no sign of any of this ending soon.
UAW members are rallying today, calling on Stellantis to keep the promise as the possible.
2 weeks ago, something had to be done, and what was done after a two-day board meeting in the United States by Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, was a massive shakeup across the entire business globally. So we had the departure of the CFO. As you mentioned, we also have a shakeup.
Jeep, once an American icon, is facing a crisis. The company has seen a 48% drop in net income, executives leaving in droves, and over 1 million vehicles recalled. But there's an even more shocking development on the horizon: bankruptcy. In this video, we're going to challenge your understanding of the auto industry. We'll explore how Jeep transformed from an off-road legend to a company in financial trouble in just 5 years. Imagine walking into a Jeep dealership 5 years ago, ready to buy that rugged Wrangler you've always wanted. Now, fast forward to today, and you're looking at a sticker price that's significantly higher. Stellantis, Jeep's parent company, made a bold move to reposition Jeep as a premium brand. But this strategy backfired spectacularly. Jeep has always been synonymous with adventure and off-road capability. Its core customers were outdoor enthusiasts and everyday drivers who valued durability and versatility. But Stellantis had grander plans. They wanted to compete with luxury SUV makers like Land Rover and BMW. The result? A massive price hike that left many loyal Jeep fans feeling betrayed. Take the Jeep Grand Cherokee, for example. In 2018, you could drive one off the lot for around $30,000. Today, that same model will set you back close to $45,000. The iconic Wrangler? It's now pushing $50,000 for higher-end trims. These price increases outpace inflation by a huge margin. The impact on sales has been devastating. Jeep's core customer base, the people who made the brand what it is, simply can't afford these new prices. They're turning to more affordable alternatives or holding on to their older models longer. Brand loyalty, once Jeep's strongest asset, is eroding fast. Jeep dealerships across the country are now forced to offer discounts to move inventory off their lots. It's a far cry from the days when Jeeps practically sold themselves. This price hike fiasco is a textbook example of a company misreading its market. Jeep's strength was never in luxury. It was in accessibility and reliability. By trying to be something they're not, they've alienated their base and failed to attract enough new premium buyers to make up the difference. But here's the kicker. Sky-high prices aren't even the biggest problem Jeep is facing. While dealerships scramble to offer discounts, a much more serious issue is lurking under the hood. Quality control problems are about to turn this financial pothole into a full-blown sinkhole for Stellantis. Remember when Jeep was synonymous with rugged reliability? Those days are long gone. A former Jeep engineer has come forward with a shocking revelation about what's really happening on Stellantis' production lines. The truth behind Jeep's quality nosedive is worse than anyone imagined. According to this insider, the focus at Stellantis has shifted dramatically from quality to quantity. We were pushed to meet unrealistic production targets, often at the expense of safety checks, the engineer stated. This shift in priorities has led to a fundamental change in how Jeep vehicles are being made, with severe consequences. The scale of recent recalls is staggering, affecting popular models like the Jeep Wrangler and the entire Ram truck line. But it's not just the number of recalls that's alarming, it's the nature of the defects. Imagine owning a vehicle that could burst into flames while parked in your driveway. For more than 150,000 Jeep owners, this nightmare scenario became a reality. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, launched an investigation after reports surfaced of engine fires in certain Jeep models, even when the ignition was turned off. The investigation revealed over 7,815 vehicles were potentially affected by this dangerous defect. The problems extend beyond Jeep to other Stellantis brands. A Ram truck owner reported that the rear side airbag in her vehicle exploded while parked in her driveway, causing significant damage. This incident is part of a broader recall affecting all 2023 to 2024 Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, 4500, and 5500 due to airbag malfunctions. How are customers reacting to this quality control nightmare? They're fighting back. Several class action lawsuits have been filed against Stellantis, alleging that the company knowingly sold vehicles with defects. One high-profile case involves Jeep owners suing over recurring issues with the electronic stability control system. These legal battles are just beginning, and they're likely to multiply as more defects come to light. The financial impact of these recalls has been severe. Stellantis is facing mounting costs for repairs and replacements, further straining its already fragile financial situation. But the damage to the company's reputation may be even more costly in the long run. A former Stellantis quality control manager summed up the situation bluntly. There's intense pressure to get vehicles out the door, even if it means compromising on quality. This systemic problem within Stellantis' manufacturing approach isn't just affecting a few models. It's threatening the very foundation of brands like Jeep and Ram. As bad as things seem, these quality issues might just be the tip of the iceberg for Stellantis. With customer trust eroding and legal troubles mounting, the company is facing a crisis that goes far beyond faulty parts. The next challenge? A leadership exodus that's leaving the company rudderless in the midst of this storm. The leadership crisis at Stellantis is deepening, with key executives heading for the exits at an alarming rate. This isn't just a typical corporate reshuffling, it's a mass exodus that's leaving the company without a clear direction. The departures of Tim Kuniskis and Jim Morrison are particularly concerning. Kuniskis, the former CEO of Dodge, was the mastermind behind the brand's muscle car renaissance. Morrison played a crucial role in Jeep and Ram's success. These weren't just figureheads. They were visionaries who understood the DNA of these iconic American brands. Why are these talented leaders jumping ship? According to inside sources, many faced emotional distress over perceived failures. They proposed initiatives that were shot down, leaving them frustrated and demoralized. It's a classic case of creative minds being stifled by bureaucracy. The merger that created Stellantis has also led to a clash of cultures. American automotive expertise is colliding with European management styles, and the result has been far from harmonious. This cultural friction is pushing out executives who feel their voices aren't being heard. The impact of this leadership vacuum is already rippling through the company. Dave Kelleher, a longtime Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Chrysler dealer, didn't mince words when he said, "Corporate morale is at an all-time low." When your own dealers are publicly criticizing your leadership, you know you're in trouble. The exodus shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, the turnover rate for executives at Stellantis is higher than at other major automakers. It's creating an environment where employees and dealers alike are uncertain about the future direction of iconic brands like Jeep and Ram. As Stellantis struggles to find its footing, competitors are taking notice. With no clear leadership and a workforce in disarray, how can these beloved American automotive brands hope to fend off hungry rivals? The pressure is mounting, and the next flashpoint could be just around the corner. Stellantis is facing a growing crisis with its workforce, and the situation is rapidly approaching a breaking point. Employees are grappling with intense pressure, longer hours, and increasing uncertainty about their job security. This perfect storm of stress and frustration is pushing many workers to their limits. The United Auto Workers, UAW union, has been sounding the alarm about the mounting dissatisfaction among its members. A shocking 98% of UAW members report that Stellantis has broken promises regarding job security and investment in production facilities. This isn't just minor grumbling. It's a clear indication of a workforce that feels betrayed and undervalued. UAW President Shawn Fain didn't hold back when addressing the situation. "We are at a breaking point," he stated. "This company is reaping profits while workers are left wondering if they'll have a job tomorrow. It's unacceptable, and we're prepared to take action if necessary." Such strong language from union leadership suggests that tensions are nearing a boiling point. The threat of a major labor dispute looms large. The UAW leadership is threatening a nationwide strike as negotiations over job security and working conditions continue to deteriorate. If talks break down, we could see picket lines forming outside Stellantis plants across the country. A potential UAW strike could have devastating consequences for Stellantis. The company is already grappling with inventory issues and financial challenges. A prolonged work stoppage would only exacerbate these problems, potentially pushing iconic brands like Jeep and Ram closer to the brink of collapse. Industry analysts have pointed out that many of Stellantis' current struggles are self-inflicted. Poor management decisions have led to a significant drop in market share and profitability. Now, with labor relations at an all-time low, the company finds itself in an increasingly precarious position. As Stellantis wrestles with this internal crisis, competitors are taking notice. The turmoil within the company presents an opportunity for rivals to gain ground in key markets. With workers on edge and leadership in disarray, Stellantis' iconic brands are more vulnerable than ever to outside competition. The coming months will be crucial for Stellantis. Can the company address the concerns of its workforce and avoid a potentially catastrophic strike? Or will we see one of the largest labor disputes in recent automotive history? The answers to these questions may well determine the fate of some of America's most beloved car brands. The Ford Bronco's return in 2021 marked a significant shift in the off-road vehicle market. Ford managed to capture the spirit of adventure that defined a bygone era, offering a vehicle that combines modern technology with classic off-road appeal. The strategy has proven effective, with sales figures telling a compelling story. Dealers can barely keep Broncos in stock, and waiting lists for certain models stretch for months. This success stems from a deep understanding of what off-road enthusiasts want. Ford packed the Bronco with features that speak directly to this crowd: removable doors and roof panels, advanced four-wheel drive systems, and a range of customizable options for personalization. Auto industry analyst Sarah Keller observed, "The Bronco's comeback has exposed a major weakness in the off-road market. Ford has managed to capture the spirit of adventure that seems to have been lost in recent years." Pricing is another area where Ford has positioned the Bronco strategically. While not cheap, it offers comparable or better features at a price point that's more palatable to many buyers. Customer reviews highlight the Bronco's appeal, with many praising its blend of on-road comfort and off-road capability. The Bronco's successful reintroduction has revitalized interest in the entire off-road segment. Ford has effectively tapped into the nostalgia and adventurous spirit that once dominated the market, leaving other brands scrambling to redefine themselves. As Ford rides high on the Bronco's success, competitors face critical decision points. With traditional market segments under threat, companies are preparing to make bold and potentially risky moves. The question is, can they innovate their way out of this crisis, or is it too little, too late for some iconic brands in the off-road vehicle market? Stellantis is making a massive $46 million investment to retool 3 Michigan plants for electric vehicle production, focusing on popular models like the Jeep Wagoneer. This move signals their commitment to the EV revolution. But it's not without risks. Their core customers, particularly Jeep owners, are showing significant hesitation about switching to electric vehicles. Many feel that the EV push contradicts the brand's values of adventure and toughness. The challenges for Stellantis go beyond customer perception. They're entering a market already crowded with established players like Tesla, who have been aggressively slashing prices. This puts pressure on Stellantis to compete on cost, which could be difficult given their financial struggles. Stellantis's current EV sales and market position aren't encouraging. While they have plans for several new electric models, they're playing catch-up in a rapidly evolving market. Industry experts warn that their focus on EVs might be too late, especially as they continue to grapple with declining market share. The transition to electric vehicles is reshaping Stellantis's entire workforce. Nearly 2,450 employees are facing indefinite layoffs as the company halts production of the Ram 1500 to make way for new electric counterparts. This restructuring is creating tension within the company and raising questions about the human cost of this EV gamble. Will this all-in bet on electric vehicles pay off for Stellantis? The odds aren't looking great. Their upcoming electric models are entering a market saturated with more affordable options. Analysts predict that Stellantis's current EV strategy may not resonate with its traditional customer base, potentially leading to a backlash if the brand fails to maintain its rugged image. As Stellantis struggles to reinvent itself in the electric age, some industry insiders are whispering about more drastic measures. With mounting challenges and an uncertain future, could government intervention be the company's last hope for survival? The next chapter in Stellantis' story might involve an unexpected player, Uncle Sam himself. Stellantis, the parent company of iconic American brands Jeep and Ram, is reportedly seeking a $1 billion government bailout. This staggering sum represents a desperate move from a company struggling to stay afloat. But why does Stellantis need this money? And what would it mean for the future of these beloved brands? Stellantis claims they need the funds to transition to electric vehicle production. However, critics argue that this is merely a temporary fix for much deeper issues plaguing the company. Senator Rebecca Miles voiced her concerns during a recent hearing, stating, "We're essentially rewarding a company for its mismanagement instead of holding Stellantis accountable for its poor decisions." It's a sentiment shared by many who question whether taxpayers should be responsible for Stellantis's mistakes. The political implications of a potential bailout are significant. Supporters argue that protecting American jobs and iconic brands is worth the investment, while critics say it's a waste of taxpayer money. The debate is intensifying in Washington, with lobbyists and politicians taking sides. Economically, the stakes are enormous. Stellantis employs thousands of American workers, and its supply chain supports countless more jobs. A collapse could send shockwaves through the entire auto industry. But would a bailout actually solve the company's problems, or just postpone the inevitable? Industry analysts are divided on the potential impact. Some believe the bailout could provide necessary short-term relief, giving Stellantis time to recover. Others warn it may not address deeper systemic issues. The truth is, no one knows for sure what a bailout would mean for Jeep and Ram's future. The United Auto Workers, UAW union, has already expressed dissatisfaction with Stellantis' management. They're threatening strikes that could further damage the company if a bailout doesn't lead to meaningful changes. It's a high-stakes situation, with workers' livelihoods hanging in the balance. As we've seen, Stellantis is facing numerous challenges. The proposed $1 billion bailout might seem like a lifeline, but it's clear that money alone won't solve Stellantis' problems. The road ahead is uncertain. Will government intervention save these iconic American brands? Or is it just delaying the inevitable? The next few months could determine whether Jeep and Ram survive or become another casualty of a rapidly changing auto industry. Stellantis faces a critical juncture as it grapples with the aftermath of recent setbacks. The company's leadership is now tasked with charting a course through turbulent waters, and their strategy could determine the fate of iconic brands like Jeep and Ram. Looking ahead, Stellantis is betting on a two-pronged approach to regain its footing. First, they're doubling down on electrification. The upcoming electric Jeep Recon aims to capture a slice of the growing EV market, potentially attracting environmentally conscious buyers who might have overlooked the brand in the past. Similarly, the revamped Charger, set to debut by the end of 2024, will include an electric variant that could appeal to performance enthusiasts looking for a greener option. But Stellantis isn't abandoning its roots. The company recognizes the need to win back trust from its core customer base. This means addressing quality control issues head-on and potentially revisiting their pricing strategy. Industry insiders suggest that a return to more affordable, rugged vehicles could help rebuild goodwill with longtime Jeep and Ram fans. The success of this dual strategy remains uncertain. Automotive analyst Sarah Johnson notes, Stellantis is walking a tightrope. They need to innovate to stay competitive, but they can't afford to alienate their traditional customers in the process. It's a delicate balance that few automakers have successfully achieved. Financial pressures add another layer of complexity to Stellantis' recovery efforts. With profits down and market share shrinking, the company has limited room for error. Every decision, from product development to marketing, will be scrutinized by investors and industry watchers alike. The next few quarters will be crucial for Stellantis. The company needs to demonstrate that it can deliver on its promises, both in terms of quality improvements and successful new product launches. If they can thread this needle, there's a chance for a remarkable turnaround. If not, the consequences could be dire for two of America's most recognizable automotive brands. As Stellantis navigates this challenging period, their journey serves as a microcosm of the broader shifts occurring in the auto industry. The push towards electrification, changing consumer preferences, and global economic pressures are forcing all automakers to adapt or risk obsolescence. Stellantis' ability to weather this storm may provide valuable insights for the entire sector. Stellantis' struggle reveals deep-rooted issues in the auto industry. The challenges facing Jeep and Ram highlight the difficult transition to electric vehicles, shifting consumer preferences, and intense global competition. These iconic American brands serve as a warning sign for traditional automakers. The crisis at Stellantis raises important questions about the future of the automotive landscape. Can the company navigate these turbulent waters and emerge stronger? Or will Jeep and Ram become relics of a bygone era? The answers to these questions could shape the industry for years to come. As we watch this story unfold, it's worth considering the broader implications. If established brands like Jeep and Ram are struggling, what does that mean for other automotive icons? The industry is evolving rapidly, and companies that fail to adapt may find themselves left behind. The road ahead is uncertain, and only time will tell which automakers will thrive in this new era.